Tasas. Hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to BINUS University International as a part of the launch of Creative Digital Communication Program. My name is Alia Warganegara from Creative Digital Communication as a student, and I will be your MC of the day. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Now, before I continue, allow me to extend my welcome to Dr. Andres Chang, MBA, the Campus Director of BINUS Senayan. Where's? Yes. There he is. Miss Yenny Chen, SCOM, MCOM, as the Deputy Campus Director of BINUS Senayan. Mr. Samuel Mahatma Putra, SCOM, M-Infotech, as the Dean of School of Computing and Creative Arts. Ms. Dian Sarwono, SPD, MA, as the Head of Creative Digital Communication Program. And fellow faculty members and Venusians. Not to mention, Global Kanaan School. Can we get a round of applause? Thank you. Al-Azhar Kelapa Gading. Ayo. And esteemed media guests and guests. Welcome once again to our FX campus. Let's give a round of applause. Everybody, once again. Yeah. Now, the Creative Digital Communication Bachelor Program is a newly revamped initiative by BINUS University International as a part of the School of Computing and Creative Arts, aimed at equipping students with cutting-edge skills in digital media, communication strategy, and content creation to thrive in the evolving global landscape, which helps to produce industry-ready graduates prepared to address challenges in the digital era. What's exciting is that those who are eager to be a part of the program will become a holistic communication practitioner who are adaptable and possess future-proof skills to meet the industry demands. Now, I would like to welcome the Dean of the School of Computing and Creative Arts, Mr. Samuel Mahatmaputra, ESCOM M Infotech, to the stage. The time is yours.
A very good morning, everyone. A very good morning, distinguished guests, of course, Pak Chang, Ibu Yeni, Budian, of course, and our guests. Very good morning to all of us. And we would like to say a very good morning to all of our students and future students from Global Kanaan and from Al-Azhar. Thank you so much for attending our opening of the new program, Creative Digital Communications. It is a new era of merging between technology and arts in one communication program. Well, usually we have only, pure communication program as per se, communicating using words. But nowadays, those eras already passed. Nowadays, those era needs to be supported with digital technology. You cannot only communicate one way. You have to interact with your audience. Now, those interactions, you have to analyze the audience. Now, analyzing the audience, well, by the way, the audience is not only 400 like this, or 200 like this. The audience is 250 million. You cannot do that manually. You have to do with artificial intelligence. You have to do that with technology. So this is the strength that we would like to offer to our students. This is the strength that we would like to offer our future storytellers, future strategists, future ambassadors, future business person, future influencer, future influencer. For you not only to have the skills to communicate to journalists, but as well to analyze your audience, to interact with your audience, and then to precisely take decisions of how to act or how to react towards certain situations. Now, students, of course, we would like to invite you later on to ask questions towards our distinguished guests, distinguished lecturers later on, and then as well to explore the opportunity of digital communications. Welcome to BINUS International. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel, for your remarks. Now, please allow me to invite the Campus Director of BINUS University Senayan, Dr. Andres Chang, MBA, to the stage.
Thank you. Good morning, Bapak Ibu, guest speakers. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your sharing later on. Yeah. Good morning, Pak Sam, Bu Dian, Bu Yeni. Good morning, our students from Al-Azhar. Welcome to BINUS University International. Good morning, our students from Kanaan Global. Welcome to BINUS University International. Let me show you some slides. The importance of communications, of course, right? This is in the jungle of Kalimantan. How are you going to communicate in the jungle of Kalimantan, right? They have their own methods. For example, they use leaves probably. They use branches, right? For example, okay? But communications is utterly important. First of all is for survival. If you need to survive, if you want to survive, you have to be able to communicate, right? For you, with your parents, with your peers, with your bosses in the future, okay? And for cooperation, so for social bonding, for example. And these are some examples of how they communicate. You can see a stick here, another rod here, another. This means that we are going to that direction and we belong to this family. This is in the jungle Kalimantan, belonging to this group of people called Punan, Dayak Punan. Okay? So they also use other ways of communication, right? And this has its meaning. Some people is not feeling well. Okay? Please don't go in. Okay? Etc., etc. So they have meanings. This is the way they communicate in the jungle of Kalimantan. Right? Okay. From ancient time, we also see people communicating using paintings. This is from Sulawesi. And even animals communicate. According to BBC Science, whales have their own consonants, have their own vocalizations. Okay? And you can see here, chimpanzees are experts in communications. They use their gestures, vocals, and also facial expressions. Okay? Now, what about in the jungle of modern society like Jakarta? Okay? This is the jungle. Right? You also need to survive, cooperate. You also need to do bonding, and you have to pursue your personal and your company success as well. For that, communication is one of the keys. But we cannot use conventional communication anymore, as Sam has mentioned, right? You cannot use conventional communication. You need to use something that is digital. You need to use data. You need to use artificial intelligence, social media, digital platform, and you have to be creative. Why? Because if you're not creative, you are not going to be effective in communicating, right? So, and it should be AI powered, data powered as well. Social media, okay, again, and digital marketing is part of the communication as well. So this is going to be a very exciting world for you in the future. And if you are an expert in communicating, you are bound to succeed in your life. So join BINUS University International. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Andreas. All right. So now, if you think about it, artificial intelligence, it's the current buzzword. In every corners, we cannot stop hearing about this. Therefore, we are excited to have leaders who might be able to share one or two things, who might be able to explain the future of the industry, especially to those who want to work as a communication practitioner. Let me call to the stage Abigail Limuria as the founder of What It Is Up Indonesia, Nadia Mirandani, or you might be familiar with her account handle at Sailor Money, across socials, and our creative digital communication alumni. With the moderator Hamza Ramadan as the communications lecturer, as well as engagement and reputation coordinator at BINUS University.
Hello, thank you for that. So I think let's get right in, yeah? All right, so I'm in the middle of these two amazing speakers, but how are you? Oh, there you go. Woo, sorry, I'm too excited for this. How are you? Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we're right on the floor. Can you hear us okay? Amazing.
Okay.
Thank you. So, hi. Hey again.
Hello.
Hello. All right. So, I think first of all, intro. Who wants to start? Abigail or Jamal?
I think the alumni should.
Oh, okay. Let's start with you then.
Yes, I'm the oldest alumni from the first batch of communications at BINUS International. But hi, my name is Nadia. But in a friendlier term, you can call me Gamat. That's a new name because I went to uni somehow. In university, you don't only study, you make friends, and these friends give you names.
Yeah.
So that's what I would stick by, Gamat. I went to school here in 2011.
Okay.
That's when I started. Exactly. Just
Wow.
yesterday. I just graduated yesterday. He's like, it's been a while. It's been been like more than a decade.
I know.
And like imagine like how much things have changed in the
Right.
landscape of like technology and communications, and also in my life and in your life. But yeah, I was a student here for 4 years, then I joined the double degree program. I took advertising and media in Northumbria University in Newcastle,
Okay.
in the UK, which you probably know about the programs here.
Yep.
But yeah, thanks for having me here. I am now a do-it-all type of girl.
Do it.
You know? Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe you have seen like some of my content with my good friend Emma, with Salmon, with podcasts. I dabbled in the agency world as well. I work for, how do you call it? Like it was a startup before, but it's now like a multinational company as well. So yeah, just a lot of things kind of like under my belt.
Great.
And
We love it.
literally under my belt as well now.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Now over to you, Abigail. Tell us about yourself. Oh, it's off. All right, maybe.
Girl.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Abigail. Unfortunately, I am not an alumni of BINUS,
It's
but
okay.
You're an honorary alumni, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Honorary. Okay, that's great. Yeah, but I'm very grateful and very honored to be invited here, and very excited to share about some of the things here. If what I'm doing right now, I guess, as you have mentioned,
Yeah.
I run a an online media called What Is Up Indonesia, or for short, it's WIUI. So if you read it through, it's WIUI.
Really? Okay.
Because What Is Up Indonesia is too long, so
Yeah.
just call it WIUI. So if I mention WIUI, that's what I meant. It's basically an English social political account where we summarize social political issues in Indonesia in English. We add memes, we make fun videos and content all across platform,
Yep.
mainly in Instagram, and then we're also on TikTok, and we're just dabbling now into podcasts. And so
Okay.
I'm doing podcasts with my friend Andovi Da Lopez.
Yep.
What's in the What Is Up Indonesia YouTube channel. Aside from that, I also do some content creation. Back in 2024 general election, What Is Up Indonesia collaborated with Think Policy. We created this platform called Bijak Memilih, where we make like a one-stop platform where we gather all necessary information, including political party, presidential candidates, and all that fun stuff. And I guess I recently just published a book.
Ooh, okay.
It's sold out in like what, 5 minutes?
No, not 5 minutes.
Sorry,
but
hyperbole.
it's already in. It's sold out around like 5,000 copies in less than
Wow.
3 weeks.
Okay.
That's crazy.
So very grateful. And I guess it's because we invited a bunch of like speaker in our book launch, and apparently, fortunately, both Pak Anies and Pak Ahok attended, and they hugged during the book launch. And so
Iconic.
now every time you search my book, it's called Makanya Mikir.
That's why you
it's
have to think.
attached. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's attached to Ahok dan Anies berpelukan. So
Oh,
that's my
okay.
PR, guys.
Love that.
All right. Well, I think the way that we're gonna start this is because this is part of this launch. So the program now, it's called Creative Digital Communication. But I'll start with the first fundamental questions to both of you. What's the relevance of learning creative digital communications in your words?
Is that even a question? I don't know. I feel
yes,
like,
tell
I feel
us.
like
Come on.
when I started studying communication as literally something to study and not just like something that I do on a daily basis, I figured out like, oh, there are theories about like how to convey messages and also like how you decode messages as well, like in your head. It's kind of like, oh, there's a theory to it. But I think communication is just I feel like everything that you see is everyone trying to communicate with you in some type of way or another, be it from a very interesting storytelling or like getting you from the get-go with like some clickbait, or kind of like luring you in with some like really ridiculous kind of like a Wattpad fanfic thing, but it's an ad for like a game. So I think it's important to really understand that like these tactics have like reasons and like theories as well, and like why they're being used. But yeah, I do think communication and creativity always like goes in hand together, especially with like the rapid change of communication technology. Because I feel like when I was studying communications, the hippest social media was Path.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all know what Path is.
Did anyone know?
Anyone knows what Path is? Well, you do? Are you in high school? Don't say your mom used it. No. No. Did your dad use it? No! But yeah, so it was Path, and it was just like, did you use Path, Abby?
I did.
Of course, because we're the same age, period. But like, yeah, the hippest one was Path, and it was just like, when you have like 3,000 friends on Facebook, it's literally just like, well, who are you friends with now then, right?
By the way, I don't think they're using Facebook anymore.
Oh no.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, but
Actually, they do.
Oh, they
It's just
do?
like
Ooh.
not our age group.
Right.
yeah, that's true. Maybe for like marketplace.
Probably.
Or I don't know what y'all do there. I mean, I'm a
It's
millennial
a
and I
bunch
don't
of
know.
like AI stuff.
I'm so scared.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is a pretty scary place. Last time I checked.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
The ones are there that are parents, so I'm kind of more scared about that because like they might be too gullible for that.
Yeah.
But Abby, for you, the one that kind of, you own a media company, you've established some kind of a digital movement, I should say, that kind of turns into something a bit more offline afterwards. But what is it, according to you, all this creative digital communication? Share it to us.
I think that's a very broad question, but I think creative digital communication is in every sphere of our lives
Yeah.
now. Like we cannot escape it. Like it's everywhere, and so it's a very thriving business, and it's very, very much needed. But it is very competitive, I would say.
Okay.
At the heart of it, like communication, like Matt said, right? From the dawn of time, humanity have always tried to communicate with one another. It's
Yeah.
just that the medium keeps evolving. Like back then, for example, it's just like, for example, us talking,
Yeah.
and then there's print, and then there's book, and then there's blogs, and then there's Facebook, Path,
Path. Oh my god.
and then now TikTok and all of the other apps. So it's about communication, and when we talk about communication, it's mostly about being effective and persuasive.
Okay.
And so within that, I think it requires a lot of empathy, strategic communication, diplomatic skills, critical thinking, the ability to actually listen and understand what the other person's trying to convey, the ability to listen or to read something and have the filter to actually understand what they're
Okay.
trying to sell us,
Yep.
when whether this is true or this is hoax, this is propaganda and things like that.
Correct.
And I guess when we talk about digital communication, we cannot escape that it's usually for selling something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you're trying to sell something, it's about problem solving. And so I think it's a very, very fast evolving sector, but the core fundamentals is still the same. It is about being an effective communicator, being a good problem solver. It's about being persuasive, and it's about being adaptable. That's in my opinion.
All right.
But the medium, how you do it, what's trending, how do you catch people's attention, how do you evoke certain emotion, those will keep on changing, and so you need to be very adaptable in this field.
All right, but I think what's interesting from what you've mentioned is about empathy, and I want to ask this to you, to both of you. How does this empathy is important to be part of being an effective communicator?
Oh, it's so important. I mean, I guess when you think about the word empathy, the definition that you understand is feeling how the other person's feeling, or kaya kasiyan maybe sometimes, right? And I do think it is a part of empathy, but that's not the whole thing. Empathy is essentially what? Understanding other people, right? Knowing how they think, how they feel accurately. And that is so essential if you want to be an effective communicator. For example, if you want to sell something to someone, if you don't know what your audience want, what they think, how do they feel, what kind of content will evoke certain emotion that you want, you won't be able to create the right content, the right promotional material. But if you have a good empathy, you know your audience deeply and you understand other people and you're able to understand them in a way that is accurate, that's when you'll become a good communicator. And so I do think anyone in this sector needs to have very good empathy.
All right. What about you, Kimit?
No, I totally agree 100%.
Chance.
And I was just like thinking I guess like in the field of work that I guess like we all would do, is that would be used for market research as well. And it's so important to know that I think Pasamo mentioned about like it's not only about like what you convey, it's all about like understanding how people react as well, right? So like from that reaction you see like, oh, what do people want from this? And like the fields of jobs that are available are kind of just like community managers or like strategic researchers that are really essential in like an agency or like on your team. So if you are someone who's like always on top of your game when it comes to like TikTok trends or like Twitter, you kind of like already can see kind of, oh, people like this, and you can kind of like dissect why, and then you can try to like solve their problems, or you could like help them live better or buy your product.
All right. But I think for most of us who attended today, I mean, like, I want to share with them, like, how do you ensure that they can start to nurture this from the beginning? I mean, especially if they want to be in this industry. I mean, Abigail, I'll start with you. What's some of the tips that you might be able to share to be able to start nurture this empathy within themselves, and hopefully they'll become an effective communicator later on?
I think in this field,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, in my opinion,
Yeah.
for you to be able to be successful in this field, there needs to be a certain level of obsession.
Okay. In what way?
Where you obsess over, for example, you see a marketing trend that's blowing up in your community. You need to like have a certain level of obsession to want to understand and dissect, like you mentioned earlier, like why, what is it about this that catches people's attention? What kind of attention is it garnering? Is the type of attention it's sparking align with the goal? You know, because sometimes people would react and your content would get a lot of engagement, but nobody buys your product, for example. That would not be as effective. But there needs to be a certain level of obsession. It's the same like if you want to be good at something in any field, right? And when you keep on studying things and then you try to understand, there's a certain threshold where you're like, oh, okay, I can start to see patterns here. You know, like this campaign fails because of this. This campaign succeed probably because of this. And you just have to have that certain level of obsession, and then afterwards you need to try. I suggest anyone wanting to go to this field to have, I don't know, for example, if you want to go into online marketing or maybe content creation, to experiment a lot with your own account, and just because you can't be good at something by just studying it, you need to actually do it,
Totally agree.
even from like a very small scale. And so I think those two probably, like certain level of obsession to understand why things work, and the courage to try in small scale.
Yeah. What about you, Jimat?
Oh, I agree. I think I just want to like add on the fact
Go
that
on.
like probably 90% of the people here know how to work TikTok better than we do, because you guys like live and breathe it. Basically, I don't know, that might be like a wild assumption, but not really. But yeah, I think it's all about like trying it yourself, like hands-on. Again, if we go back to like the fact that like the rapid change of social media, even like each platform with each update, you gotta keep up with it to kind of like always favor the algorithm. But yeah, you just gotta like try it for yourself. And if you don't really understand the platform that you're on, then like how are you going to convey your message in the most effective way? But yeah, I feel like if you're not, I don't know if high schoolers are not on TikTok.
I don't know.
Like,
Are you on TikTok?
Guys on TikTok?
Okay, hands up if you're on TikTok. Come on. Most of you? Are you on TikTok?
Hands up if you're on Discord. Yeah? Yeah? See? Even like, I feel like there's just like, even now, like the media that like we choose to, not only to socialize or convey a message, you kind of like grow to find your community, especially when you play a game or you like certain interests or you just feel like, school's just not it with me, dude. Like I have online friends that are like really cool. Like how do you also like tap into that as a market as well? Like how do you relate to those people? So I feel like if you have like a lot of niches, if you join a lot of servers and you're like active on a lot of the channels on Discord, I feel like you can really relate to like, oh, how do I convey this message for this channel? We're talking about certain things. So that's, I don't know if you know, but that's already a skill. So if you really want to like study communications, it's literally already on your day-to-day. So yeah, I feel like it could be fun for you if you take on this degree.
All right, but you've mentioned the importance of learning it from a small scale and the importance of not just studying all of these trends. But we can be in one phase where you just get tired of it. You just don't want to learn from it. And I think that's one of the challenges of being a digital content creator. And correct me if I'm wrong, probably you're like, you just do it every day, creating great contents without even stopping. But when it comes to that point, you finally arrive to a point where you're so tired, you're so fatigued with what you've created so far. How do you solve it? How do you cope with it?
In my time, we call it like writer's block.
All right, okay.
Because usually like journalists and like writers, they write and
Yeah.
they don't shoot content. But like here, like you're a content creator, I guess. A lot of people just like set up cameras and then just like record, right? I guess like for millennials, a lot of us, we write storylines first and then we kind of like, oh, maybe this shot should be like this and da-da-da. It's crazy to kind of like think that like even your fatigue could be content, which is kind of like,
okay.
it's weird. But it's interesting in the sense that like even you feeling something is already like an experience that could be relatable to a lot of people. And I think that's how a lot of people see social media nowadays.
Yeah.
It's how to be relatable. It's how your message get echoed all over the, I guess like your community or country or the world, right? If there's gonna be like a universal experience, then that's gonna like, like rank up your algorithm and like get a lot more views. I feel like it all comes back to you. If you're like really tired of like making content, because if you take content creation seriously, you schedule them, and please don't forget to schedule your rest. Because I feel like a lot of I don't know, maybe it's like a big city thing where it's just like hustle culture and like you just like work, and you feel like, oh, I'm unproductive today. Like I feel bad. So if you're scheduling your work, please don't forget to schedule in your rest days as well. That's also kind of like very important.
What about you, Abby? You get to that point, you're feeling fatigue. What's next for you? How do you cope with it? How do you come back from that fatigue to a place where you can be productive again?
Yeah, I think feeling certain level of burnout or fatigue is very normal in any field, not just content creation. I mean, if you doom scroll for like 3 days, you're gonna get fatigued. You don't have to create content, right? So I do think it's about good time management and self-regulation. You know who you are, you know your capacity, know your limit, and don't push yourself there. No, because social media, if we're talking specifically on social media, right, it can be very toxic, like, and so you just have to have good self-regulation and good time management. And about content creation, I think you need to firstly have a very solid goal in mind. So like nobody's creating content just for the sake of creating content, right? For example, some people create content to be famous, or some people create content because they want to push this certain agenda of activism. They want people, for example, to care more about climate change. Some people create content because they want to sell their book, for example, me.
Yeah.
So you just have to know your goal, and then if, for example, man, I don't think creating content every single day is for me, then you can work around that as long as the goal is still achieved, right? Because I do think you don't have to create content every single day. I think right now it's more towards quality over quantity.
Okay.
Back then, maybe there were times where at first you need to kind of like establish your branding, and you need to create certain level of quantity of content before like the algorithm picks up. But like even with platform like TikTok, for example, you can post one video, and if it hits, it can go viral, right?
Right.
And so you don't really have to it's not about like you need to grind every day. It's not always about like working hard. It's about working smart and knowing what your market wants and how to get there most effectively and sometimes efficiently, as long as your goal is achieved, right?
Okay. But now with the rise of AI, like how does this relevant of studying this course, this creative digital communication, can enhance on whatever that you've mentioned earlier? You've helped to set up a goal, you polish your content. How does these two kind of intertwine between one another?
Yeah, I mean, utilizing AI and the many tools and technology that continues to develop is part of creating content, right? Like it's part of the innovation. I know like a lot of people have integrated like AI very, very smartly into their content creation. Like for example, like there's this YouTuber podcast where he has a podcast and he interviewed his ChatGPT as a guest, for example. Or there's a lot of brands also that now like the person that usually talks in front of the camera is now AI generated, including the voice, and it looks like the person, you know. And so that AI can create like 5 content every day, for example. So it's really, again, it depends on your goal, why you're creating content, and see whether there's any tech or AI that you can leverage. And so it's still very much relevant. But again, like I mentioned, at the core of it, and I think that's probably what you're gonna learn in this course, right? At the core of it is how do you become an effective communicator. And being an effective communicator involves being able to curate what tools and technology that you can leverage correctly to achieve, again, your goal. And at the end of the day, it's still you who needs to be the problem solver. It's still you who needs to be the curator. You cannot delegate that to the AI. And so I still think like it's still very important.
So you have that role to curate and ensure that it's relevant to your audience. All right. What about you, Jamat? AI, social media, content creation, and yourself on top of studying creative digital communication. What's your thoughts?
AI is a great tool to start really exploring, say, like a whole new world. Not to be Aladdin on this one, but it really is a whole new world. It's a chance for you to explore things, and I feel like that's what like the youth, like the young spirit kind of like needs. I see communications as a study, as a very innovative, creative, I guess, like field. So if there's anything new, you should be the ones who, you know, like be the first to really try it out and explore, and then again, use it as one of the tools to really achieve your goals or like make whatever you want and create. I can really advise on creativity because I feel like the fresher your mind is, then the more creative you are with like fresh ideas. So don't be afraid to like try new things with AI. Don't be afraid of it, but find a way to really use it.
So I think we've come to questions where what's the trend then in the next couple of years? Since both of you are in this field, you've created your own thing, you've established many of initiatives. What's the trend in the next 5 to 10 years according to both of you? Who wants to start? I think that's a big question that kind of require a bit of a, bit of
FGD.
no, not FGD, but a bit of a thoughts and a bit of a in-depth and a bit of reflection from both of you as a practitioner, as a leaders in this. Go on.
I feel like students here that are going to be in uni, they're gonna be the ones who make the trends. So I feel
Okay.
like I'm just gonna leave it to the new generations of the ones in the academia, in the work field, to really make that trend. Because it's not about following trends anymore. It's
Okay.
all about making the trends. And like with the endless tools and like the technological development that like we have, even at this rate, like imagine what could happen in next year. I don't know, maybe like we're not here now, but we're just like holograms, like Katsune Miku, our gorillas. Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's
Okay.
something to look forward to create and not to look forward to just witness, I think.
All right. Maybe trends 5 to 10 years. What do you reckon?
I think it's very, speaking about trend, like it's very broad again when you talk about digital media, because there's a lot of different sector.
Yeah.
But I do think moving forward in the future, there'll be more cross-sector collaboration. So,
Okay.
for example, in politics or in business or in sectors that usually you don't perceive, you still perceive as traditional, or you still perceive as something that is far from digital media.
Yep.
I think they will start to mesh and cross sector with digital media.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've seen a lot of it happen in politics and campaigns, and I do think like in, for example, 2029, it's gonna be even more. And as we know, Indonesia usually kind of loosely follows the trend in the US. And we know like in the US, what they just had was some sort of podcast election, where podcast plays a huge role in election, and so I think we might be seeing that even more in Indonesia. Maybe, I'm not sure, but definitely that. And then with AI, it can bring a hyper personalization content.
Yeah.
What, like for example, with platforms and things like that, with education, for example, with edtech, now you can do individual personalization, right? Whereas, for example, if you teach in a classroom, you give one material for all students, but with AI, I think you can give like personalized education material for each student. So I think that can be in the table. And for example, for trends, I think like this year we've seen a huge trend towards like authenticity over content that are more polished. I think
Right.
people
Okay.
like brain rot contents, meme, like things that are very just raw and apa adanya, bisa dibilang.
Okay.
And so that might amplify, or it might backfire to people wanting more like aesthetically curated content.
Okay.
We can see, and so I think it's definitely very dynamic, and yeah, I guess
Okay.
we can see.
All right. So I think, well, the last questions I should say, I think before we close here. I mean, you've mentioned a lot. It's very important to have empathy. It's important to set a goal on whatever that you're doing, especially if you're planning to make this as your career. But how do we ensure that we still want to keep up with all of this? Like sometimes we get so tired, we have to continuously follow all of these trends and what's happening around us. But what's your tips to ensure that we're not falling behind, but at the same time we still can follow what's out there to ensure that we can still be relevant, and of course you still have to be authentic at the same time, but how?
I feel like everyone's trying to find that sweet spot
Mm.
of being authentic but also trendy.
Okay.
But then I don't think they can't coexist. Because I feel like a lot of creators nowadays, let's say, I feel like everyone's a creator. Everyone who has like a smartphone, they can record themselves and put themselves out there, I think, is already like a creator. But I think it's all about like, again, it comes down to your creativity on how to kind of like merge these two together.
Yeah.
You can still be authentic and follow a trend or tap into a trend. Yeah, you can just like talk about the trend.
All right.
But the fatigue of just trying to catch up is real.
Yeah.
It's
I
really
agree.
kind of like, it's really easy to get like overly stimulated by like everything that you see online, especially if you doom scroll for like hours. So I guess it's back to like what Abby said about like self-regulation. It comes back to that. I think just be mindful.
Mindful.
And if you see this as
Alright.
like a career, then treat it as a career and not as your life.
Yeah.
I think that's very important as well.
All right.
Easy to say. But
Easy to say.
Yeah,
I
easy to
agree.
say, but very hard to do.
Abby.
Yeah.
Your
I-
thoughts.
No, I totally agree. And I guess the only thing I will add is don't focus too much on trying to be cool or relevant, because coolness come and go. The definition changes every single day. But focus on being a problem solver and be useful, because usefulness and when you give people solution, that usually stays.
Okay.
And so you don't have to keep up with every single trend, because you're not trying to be just cool, but you're offering a solution as a problem solver.
All right. Anything else? All good?
Slay.
All right, so I think that's the end of our industry talk show. It's been a pleasure having both of you. Thank
for having me.
so
Thank
much.
you.
And I think after this we'll have some questions answered, but thank you so much for being part of us. Applause, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, let's go. So I think I will handing off to our MC. Over to you.
Right,
Nadia.
thank you, Kak Nadia and Kak Abigail. We would allow at least only 2 questions. So anyone have any questions for these two? Boleh in bahasa Indonesia juga boleh.
Oh, ada yang mau tanya. Oh, silakan. Nih, mic.
Okay, so I have a question for Ka Abigail. I've seen your content with Andovi and then with Anis too, in one of the your podcast episode. And then, first, my question is, how is like working with Andovi? And then, second of all, I know your content with Anis Baswedan is talking about asking him questions about Gen Alpha's slang words. So how is it feeling like asking him those kind of questions? And yeah, that's all, Sika.
Are you trying to get tea on Andovi? Yeah, I mean, I've been friends with Andovi, and we've been collaborating on a couple of occasions, and I've always wanted to start a podcast for Wiwi, and I know I need a co-host, and so me and Andovi talked, and we agreed that he's gonna be my co-host for the podcast, and I think he adds. I think he balances me out, because I think I'm more calm and sometimes not high on energy, and he's always like 110% and always try to make like jokes that usually are not funny for me. But I think it makes the watching, the viewing more fun, and it's been really fun to work with him. But he sucks at replying text, so you just have to call him. That's the key. With Anis, for Anis and a couple of other podcasts, we decided to involve our audience, right? And so we asked them to like take a picture with like a paper and said like, ask me anything, and then let our audience comment on their questions, and then we take some of them. And the question under Anis's post that is most liked, I think it has like over 1K likes. It's about like, will Jakarta ever reach Skibidi Giat risk level public transportation? And And everyone's like, you need to ask this. This is the most liked questions. I was like, okay. And so we asked Pa Anis that. I told him to just read it himself. And he was like, Abigail, what does this mean? And I didn't, guys, I did not want to explain what gyat means to him.
What does that mean, Abby?
I'm not saying it here. I'm not explaining why. And so I just told him like gyat it's just an expression, nothing. And skibidi, like I have no idea how to explain skibidi to him, so I'm just like, it's just something that Gen Alpha usually say in front of a sentence, but Riz, it's charisma, so it means something good. So it means like, can public transport in Jakarta ever be good? And I'm so damn sure that Anis has researched what this was, because he answered it his answer is so quick. He was like, it can if Jakarta have Sigma level government and citizen. I'm like, what? And so yeah, I'm pretty sure he cheated. Like he pretended like he doesn't know. Like he already asked his son, for example, or something, pretty much. But yeah, it was really fun, and I think it went pretty viral because people were like, even AI can't generate this. Like what? Pa Anis saying, yeah, gyat. No. Yeah. So yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun. And then after that, our next episode was with Pa Ahok, right? The most liked question is even more messed up. It was Kiss, Marry, Kill, Anis, Ganjar, Cak Imin. And I was, no, like, and it was again the most liked question. And so I sent it to his team. I was like, just tell me no. I won't just let me. He's like, oh no, just ask him, it's fine. So if you watch the episode, you'll see his answer.
They were both very cute.
They were, yeah, they were very friendly and very
Yeah.
chill. Yeah.
All right, thank you for the answer. Give a round of applause. Anyone else who wants to ask a question? One more question, last. Gak ada? Gak ada yang mau nanya apa-apa? Mau? Oke. Mau nanya?
Halo Kak.
Halo.
You. Sorry Kak.
Her.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah, yes, period. My name is Renat Antarawani from Batch B27 Communications. Big fan, honestly.
Oh, thank you.
I think, yeah. I think what you're doing is something very interesting because you're bringing the young people humor, right, to older people like Ahok and Anis, which is something I always thought to do, but I don't have the time yet. So I guess my question is, why? I think it's a good thing what you're doing. Yeah, why you do this? In the
Why
first
do I
place?
ask those questions to
Yeah,
them?
to them. Do you want to humanize them? What's the idea here?
Well, okay. I think the whole goal for me and What Is Up Indonesia or WiWi is to bring political awareness, right, towards the younger generation. Because politics is viewed as something that's very complicated, abstract, boring, and something that young people usually are not interested on touching. And when they do touch it, or when people like make content about it, it's usually very cynical and very serious, and it's just not appealing. And I do understand that for us to engage with the younger generation, because again, like now the millennials and Gen Z made up more than 50% of the voting population. And so if we want political change, we need the younger generation to be able to be more politically aware, because they're the majority now. And I think the best way to involve more people, to engage young people that are usually disengaged, is through humor. and through making these political actors speak their language. And so that's what I've always been trying to do. I think it's not an effective strategy to demand that the young people understand the political lingo of the older generation as a starting point. But the older generation, the political actor, needs to come down and speak their language and engage them in their sector and the things that they like. And so for me, it's an entry point. It what piques their interest. Like maybe, for example, some of you might click on the Ahok episode now, knowing he's answering Kiss, Marry, Kill questions, right? But inside that podcast episode, there's a lot of political education. There's a lot of social political issues that we talked about, and so it's a marketing tool. It's a hook to get a wider range of audience to engage more. And so I think that's the primary purpose on all that I do through What Is Up Indonesia.
Wow, I agree. Honestly, yeah. Gen Zs, they humorize everything. I'm pretty sure if we get kidnapped, we only say, a man who knows what he wants. Thank you so much, Ka Abigail and Ka Nadia. Give a round of applause, everyone. And also thank you to the moderator, Ka Hamzah Ramadan. You may go back to your seat. Thank you so much. Now, the Creative Digital Communication Program is committed to producing top graduates where employers sought their skills to be part of them. All of this is part of the commitment of the university, where 2 out of 3 graduates can work in a global multinational or become an entrepreneur. Our next speakers, who also happen to be our alumni of the program, are keen to share their insights with us. Please welcome Dia Suhenda as the senior writer at the Jakarta Post. Round of applause, everyone. Hannah Manuela as ASEAN Portfolio Manager at GIZ, German Development Agency. Outside. With the moderator, Ms. Andari Karina Anom as Communication Lecturer at BINUS University International. The time is yours.
Hi. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Okay, we have our students, we have high school students here, and we have our alumni in here. So I think we have alumni, current student, and hopefully future students. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'm proudly presents 2 of my bestest, not only the best, yeah, bestest student in here. I have Dio Suhenda, BINUSian 2021, graduate in 2021. Currently, he is a senior journalist in Jakarta Post. Of course, previously he took journalism streaming, doing internship, and all the path in journalism area. Yeah, so for those who are interested in like create content in current issues in media, politics, we'll hear Dio later. And the second one, our lovely Hannah Manuela. So give round of applause to both of them. Yeah, Hannah, also our alumni 2016, yeah, 2016, yeah. So you are 2015. The first batch, 2016 and 2021. So I'm proudly present our alumni in here. Hannah from Public Relation Streaming back then, quite active in academic, both academic and non-academic activities. Yeah, currently in German. You describe later about your assignment and daily job, and also conduct the initiate diberi untuk memberi, ya, one of social organization that create lots of activity and being published a lot also in the media. Okay, so today we will discuss with them about the current activity and the future. Yeah, we'll talk about future crafting careers in the future of digital communication. Yeah, so maybe you can use your own microphone. Then we'll start with Dio. Yeah, maybe you can tell us what are you doing now, then how it relates with digital. Yeah, because previously you both in communication program, now it become creative digital communication, which actually already started from your batch, but now it official in a name. Tell us about what you are doing.
Hi everybody, I'm Dio.
Okay.
I graduated about 4 years ago.
Yes.
Since then, I have been a journalist. I write for the Jakarta Post. I actually started my career at the Post since when I was an intern, as Ms. Karen mentioned, while I was a student here. And so it's about 5 years with 2 internships. I did a previous internship at Tempo, and then another internship at the Jakarta Post. And come this May, it'll be my 4th year. So what I do, it's basically I do reporting, I interview people, and then I make stories about it. Jakarta Post still has a daily publication, so I write for the newspaper every day. For the past 2 years, I'd say it's been a lot of politics because of the election. We had the general election, and we had the presidential election, and then we had the regional elections last November. So yeah.
So you focus on. Okay, let me ask you, students, especially high school students, do you follow political news? Or do you have any updates about what happened in Indonesia, in Jakarta? What is it that you know? Do you know that we just finished, we have newly elected president? Yeah, of course. We are about to have the new governor in Jakarta. Do you know about it? No? Atau mungkin ini anak Tangsel dan ini kali ya, Jawa Barat, jadi nggak tahu ya. Okay, so we will learn later. Yeah, we will hear what are they trying to also reach younger audience so that the industry stay relevant. I believe that some of you have like interest in maybe current issues in media and writing, but maybe the format will be different from time to time. Yeah, so we'll hear what is the creativity, digital creativity later. Yeah, now let's hear from you. Tell us about what you are doing in communication area and how it relates with digital, the future of digital communication.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Karen, for the invitation, and good day, everyone. My name is Hannah. I'm currently the portfolio manager for ASEAN. Basically, I'm employed by the German federal government agency called GIZ. So we implement projects in ASEAN, working on the sustainability agenda like climate change, gender equality, energy transition. So I learned a lot during the university time about PR, and I really applied this kind of PR strategy and also the public speaking skill, because my role is also basically to engage with the partner. Partner means like the government of Indonesia, government of the ASEAN member states, as well as the government of Germany. So I learned a lot on this process, and when it comes to digital communication, now we're promoting more and more our work using the social media and to tell the different story about climate change, for example. So you will see our work because climate change is perceived negatively, and now we want to also shift the narrative to be more positive about climate change, about gender equality. All of this tone will be slowly more positive in coming days.
Okay, so basically, both of you are storytellers, right? So you also storyteller, of course, yeah. Communication is about storyteller in media, in journalism, and you how to like convey the message to make like the difficult or maybe negative issues like you create the narrative to your target audience. Okay, so any of you in here interested in working in global organization, companies or NGOs or international anything that relates to international global company, global organization? Ada yang nanti kalau lulus mau kerja di
or maybe become
global?
a diplomat
Or become a diplomat?
Also
Yeah, we
the
also have
diplomat track.
yeah. Ada atau semua maunya di ini Jakarta
jadi
aja?
content creator.
Atau mau aja jadi content creator ya kayak Gemat? Lagi-lagi gue lagi gitu ya katanya. Okay, so in communication program, yeah, you learn 4 years in here. We have the basic of communication, and now we change to, or we revamp to creative digital communication. In the industry, can you tell us what change, what digital skill that needed by current student and current younger generation in order to deal with the new things in journalism?
I think I'm not only speaking about journalism,
Yes,
but
but
in any sectors, the problem I feel is that there's just too much information.
Okay.
If you literally work in any sector and you get given an assignment and you need to find out about a certain information and you need to make sure what's the most updated figures, it is a challenge in itself, right? Because there's just so many news sources, there's so many data. Even the government, each and every one of the ministries, there are like 40-ish at the moment. They all have their own data banks. They all have their own publications. So it is a challenge, and I think the most critical aspect of the digital part in any work is fact-finding, you know, and at least finding a good place to start. So we have AI, we have softwares like ChatGPT that can help you get started. You know, you could just like write a prompt and then tell me Indonesia's inflation figures for the past years, for instance. And then tapi that's only the start gitu, as anybody should, you know, personally fact check this information to yourself. So I think when it comes to the digital aspect in my work, especially as a journalist, it's that, you know, it's trying to verify the numbers and the figures when it comes to certain stories that need context building and data.
Okay, which probably different with the working in journalism area back then, yeah, before
Yeah.
the digital and AI things, yeah.
Yes, I think back then the challenge was just about, you know, you get your interview
Okay.
with a minister or with a politician,
Okay.
you get your quotes, and that's it. You know, there's not much as a big of a challenge to relate everything to the bigger picture.
Okay.
Gitu.
But now okay. I will go back to the AI thing later, but I will hear from Hannah first. The digital things, the updated things that you experience during your work. In the area of your work.
Because my work is quite segmented, yeah. We deal with a lot of diplomats and also government officials, so we have to also be careful when it comes to like digital communication, right? Let's say if I have one high-level conference, right, we will of course push this through digital platform on the outcomes of this high-level conference, but it also sometimes trigger the negative comments about this high-level conference. So from my understanding, we learn to be more sensitive and how to say the social listening, like the active listening. So when we publish something on this publication conference, we also get this social active listening skill, not only through the in-person dialogue, but also from the digitals. Let's say if I have one high-level conference on energy transition, we quite, this is off the record, yeah, we quite against the fossil fuels, for example. Okay. So there will be like a like negative feedback about our conference, right? But we have to also be careful on communicating this in different platform, and that's how our team really good in managing this kind of communication in the digital platform.
Okay.
Because this topic is not for everyone, like the sustainability agenda, and sometimes it
like
can
more
also
specific.
yeah.
Okay.
We also still learning about this on active social listening,
Okay.
so we can really target it to our audience better when it comes to sustainability narrative.
Okay, so basically how you convey the message to different audience, different platform, and using different approach, yeah. Okay, so now, Dio, tell me about one of your work or your project that you work, maybe previous or current, that relate to digital. You are doing lots of coverage in politics, pemilu, pilkada, and everything. How you are doing that activities, and gimana sih digitalnya itu di situ?
So about a year and a half ago, I had a project, full-length project, which was to cover and go to East Kalimantan talking about the new capital.
Okay, IKN ya.
Yeah, IKN.
Any of you in here already been to IKN? Belum. Saya juga belum.
So I went there in like October, late 2023. So it was October 2023, and back then it was just a lot of forests. It wasn't really anything. It was not as good as it is now. But essentially, my task at the time was to make a multi-platform content, and then that we publish it on YouTube. That we made a documentary, and then we made a microsite talking about the different aspects of the project. So I think that is in itself an important part of communication, because you have to tailor, in my case, what I'm writing or what I'm conveying, depending on the platform. You know, there are things that would work in a newspaper article, but when you're writing a voiceover for a documentary, it's a completely different thing entirely. And I think taking into context that aspect is really important. That's where the digital, I would say, comes in, because then you do a lot of desktop research about references, you watch a lot of documentaries, and just see the media landscape and what's the industry standards.
It makes your work like more efficient. Maybe some things that previously must be conducted like few days, few weeks. Now you can only do it in seconds or minutes.
Yeah, I think there are also tools that helps you with that. For example, it's transcribing. You know, Ms. Karen, as a former journalist yourself, I'm sure you're aware that transcribing is the least thing you want to do after an interview. You know, like you.
It's like a dream come true now.
Yeah, it's
you
honestly
have
like a dream come true, because you know, you do a 15-minute interview, you would need to transcribe it for like an hour at least. You know, you got to make sure you got all the right words and everything. So just uploading that audio file and having text come out. Of course, you need to fact check it again, but it's things like that that make it simple.
helps you.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Anna? What current or previous project that memorable, or you want to share with us related to communication?
It's not
and
my
digital?
project,
Yes,
but it's
maybe.
also under this ASEAN-German cooperation project. So we basically have one very good project on the sustainable peatland, Tanah Gambut.
Okay.
So we try to educate the community around that area by having like the digital comics. So we disseminate this comic, we storytell about why gambut is important for environment and all of this, but in a different way.
Okay.
So we also enter this market, like the target audience, like in the kids and also their parents with this kind of digital comics. They also printed the hard copy, but we also disseminate it online, and we get the positive feedback because it is something that difficult topic about sustainable peatland. Ada yang tahu nggak sustainable peatland itu apa? No one knows about
sustainable.
Yeah. So why it's important for Indonesia and for the region, for the climate change. So
Like
we
big
bring,
issues that you
big
have to-
issue. We packaging it in different way and even make it easy to understand language and put it in the comics format. So we hope that this young generation can learn about sustainable peatland. So it's also one of the product that we basically
Maybe if they
publish.
hear the word sustainable, it's kind of like big concept, but if you
Yeah.
translate it into something like daily life,
Yeah.
it will be easier. Okay, so now in order to do that, in order to have that kind of skill, back in your university years, maybe Hannah can start first. What is it that you learn in here in communication program that helps you now able to do what you are doing now?
Okay. I don't know if you still have this performance class. Apa sih?
Performance strategy. Back then we have performance.
Yeah, like you basically have to do this like theater thingy, like performance, performance art. So I think, that one. So back then we had this one class. We have to make like performance. So I think I learned a lot during the process because we start with brainstorming. You have to plan. You also learn about the project management, and that class is basically the most memorable lah. Karena it's not like a exam sitting class type of class lah ya. It's more fun, and I think I learned a lot on this, like how can you like make yourself in the different position, because you have to role playing on certain role, right? So that class is also something that
I think one of our strength, we only have two class that has exam. The other classes are project and those kind of management things that not like sit in exam. Any of you here students love exam? Ada yang senang ujian? Oh, Gerard ya, kamu sendiri ya. How about you?
Agak lain.
How about you student? Do you like having exam?
Nah,
Seneng kayak ini wajahnya wajah-wajah seneng exam semua ya. How about you? Do you love exam? Terus maunya apa dong? Project gitu ya, doing
Project,
something.
yeah.
Okay, so I think that's one of our strength that we rely more on project ya. Salah satunya kelas yang tadi disampaikan Hana, and some other classes that will actually enhance what you are good at ya. If you like performance, then you can like doing what you want to perform in class based on the task at that time ya. How about you, Dio? What class do you think? Not necessarily like one specific class, yeah. It could be like any experience that you remember in class.
Yeah, I think it's that emphasis on doing projects.
Okay.
I think one of the most memorable aspects of my uni days is doing projects. I'm sure Miss Karin, Miss Dian would remember, I would have my groups with my friends, and then we would go all over Jakarta, making stories, going to places. And I think being given that liberty, we do attend classes, we are taught on how to do things, but at the end of the day, how we interpret those teachings, how we interpret those methods and make content out of it, it's that freedom I enjoyed. We had classes, I remember it was for one of your journalism classes, we had to make a small Instagram publication, and we had to keep that running for a few weeks. And at the end, we had to present our IG page in front of a Tempo editor. So that was one of the most memorable classes we did, because it was only 3 people per group, and then for a few weeks we had to write articles every few days, uploaded on our Instagram account. And I don't think it was an intentional thing, but what ended up happening was that people in our class made like a cross collaboration. I did it with a few of my boys, and we made it like super serious and stuff, and then there was one classmate of mine who is now my wife. She made a
Makanya semangat ya bikin projectnya ya. Ternyata BINUS International bukan hanya menghasilkan
biro jodoh juga,
tapi biro jodoh ya.
Bagus, itu dicatat, tolong dicatat ya. Dia single mana suaranya?
Oke, so that skill doing project present to ini ya, industri ya. Oke, and ya itu mungkin juga salah not the cari jodoh tinggi ya, tapi itu bonus. If so lesson learn, kalau rajin group work, nah ketemu di grupnya itu gitu ya dia ya. Okay, so I think one thing that I can take from here is when you do project, dan biasanya kan kita jago kandang nih di depan dosennya pinter ya, but when you do it like through the industry, people from practitioner, media, PR, and everything, it's required like more skill. So in here we not only having project for students, but they also have to like present doing it with people from the industry themselves. So they can give you input, they can give you grading, including based on the actual. Bukan nilai dari dosen aja, tapi nilai dari luar. Okay, so you work in the area that we might say journalism, like working with diplomat, international issues, kind of serious and took lot of effort in order to reach the younger audience. Okay, so ini ada yang masih baca koran atau nggak tahu koran itu apa? Yang tahu kayaknya cuma Bu Yeni, Bu Lili, Bu Dian ya.
Aku masih baca koran.
Masih baca koran. Okay, so how do you usually read? Okay, cari berita biasanya how do you find out about news? Through which channel? Instagram, okay. Discord ada newsnya juga? Itu cuma ini kan? Atau hoax lewat WhatsApp, jangan-jangan kayak ibu saya. How about you? How do you get news every day? How do you get updated about current issues? TikTok, okay. Social media, Instagram, TikTok, apalagi? Ini kalau yang students apa? Kalian dari mana? TikTok juga? BINUS Maya atau dari temen? Okay, so this is like the fact younger generation they update it with news, but maybe the channel is not like the previous one, like our generation, enak aja ya, nyamain gitu ya, my generation and your generation. So how to make it relevant? So your work, your content is important, but how you are also make it relevant to the younger audience.
I think I'm gonna disclaim that say I'm not speaking on
Yeah.
on behalf of the Jakarta Post, but from my experience
Yes.
there, I think we have been doing a lot of things like what Abigail is doing with WeWe is it's great, and then a lot of the traditional established media companies are also doing the same. I'm sure you might probably not have watched the podcast, but I think you might have saw clips of this Tempo podcast called Bocor Halus Politik, right? So that's like everywhere, and it's so easy to clip and make it into a 50-second clip into your story or a TikTok. So I think that's a good start. Even the traditional medias, you know, as Tempo has been around for more than 2 decades, pun starting to dabble gitu in the podcast and trying to keep up with the trends in the media market. And I think it's going that way, Miss gitu. Slowly but surely, there's the integration of more than just writing but multimedia format.
Oke, karena news information tidak akan punah ya, tetap ada, but how you are still consume and access it through different channels ya, TikTok, Instagram, apa, WhatsApp group mungkin ya, atau BINUS Maya ada beritanya? Nggak ada ya. Okay, how about you, Hannah? How to make it relevant, ya, your industry in order to also, you say that you reach different target audience, right? To make something difficult, you create the narrative that, you know,
Okay.
membuat yang tadi sampai ke komik itu kan sudah salah satunya juga ya.
Yeah, because my field is quite
Yeah,
different,
right.
very unique, very targeted to
Yeah.
the boring people, government officials, right? So when
But
it comes to
high-paid.
the,
But high paid.
amin ya Tuhan. But when it comes to the younger audience, I think we try to use the digital platform
Okay.
nowadays, like of course social media, yeah. Like from my company, we only use the traditional one,
Okay.
like Facebook. Sorry to say Facebook
Okay.
because we
Because
have
the
a
target audience are
audience
actually in that
government,
area.
right? LinkedIn because
Okay.
professionals. But when it comes to the younger audience, we see more and more people joining LinkedIn because of
Okay.
the uni
They try to find
student,
information.
young professionals.
Okay.
They want to get more information, so we maintain this platform.
Okay.
But for the younger audience, we also have the regional dialogue or conference only for the youth.
Okay.
So that's how we reach out, not only through the social media. Yes, we maintain it,
Okay.
but we also do different strategy. Jadi not
Okay.
only digital, but we also do this like regional platform online or in person. Let's say like I used to work for ASEAN Foundation.
Okay.
So these entities, they bring youth from ASEAN member state on certain topic. So at that time, my work was about bring the young farmers
Okay.
and bring it in the ASEAN, and they have this like student exchange, tapi ini farmer exchange. So that's
Okay.
how I reach out the younger generation on difficult topic like agriculture.
Ya.
Oh.
Ya, itu satu skill yang
Yeah, one of
needs
the
like
skill.
a lot of effort and skillnya harus khusus ya. Okay, so I think I will give opportunity for audience to ask question ya. If any of you want to ask question related to what they are doing and maybe the trend or anything that relate to digital communication, please. We have time for maybe 2 question. Renat lagi? Oh, enggak, kok udah agak. Gerald? Kamu kan sedang exam, mungkin ada mau tanya.
Actually, I have a question
Yeah.
myself.
Yes.
This
Okay.
for Kak Dio,
Yeah.
if I may ask. It's about being a journalist. Have you ever feel as though you're worried you're going to be replaced by AI? Or by any chance, maybe you've ever used AI to maybe make your work sound better, stuff like that?
Good question. Thank you.
I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we are at the stage that I am afraid, I'll be replaced by AI, because at the end of the day, my sources are people. A lot of part, journalism isn't just about content creation. It's about managing your networks, managing your sources. It's about being on the ground, getting the nuances. Let's say you're reporting about a natural disaster, AI could probably tell you the facts. AI could tell you when it happened, how many people were impacted, how many houses were destroyed. But it takes a human to go there and describe and write about what the scenes were like. what the families grieving were like. So I don't think we
Would be
are.
replaced.
Yeah, I would be replaced. As regards to the second question, yeah, I have used AI. As in, it helped me to and some of the stories I did, we call them explainers. You do have the straight news pieces. It's just A happened and then B, C, D, E, all the very, very easy information. But then we have another type of story which it's more of an explainer. It's a multifaceted story. I think I used AI just as an idea bank, to start about, hey, I have this idea, ChatGPT. Can you tell me what you think? And then I do talk to my ChatGPT from time to time. Tapi it's just as a starting off point to see where I should take this story, and then I'll do it myself.
Okay, so journalists are still irreplaceable, no matter how.
Yes,
Tetap
hopefully.
butuh sentuhan manusia. Hopefully, ya. Do you think there will be a career atau profesi that will be disappear in the future because of AI? Ada nggak? What do you think, students? Lecturer? Enggak ya, lecturer ya. Kalau enggak, you just learn from YouTube, I think ya, enough ya. Okay, how about you, Hannah? AI. Do you think it will, become the
It's a tools for me. I also use it a lot in my daily life. But again, my work is about dealing with people, government officials, right? And I think this is difficult to be replaced by AI because we need to engage with different stakeholder, and I think it's really
Okay.
human approach.
Ya, jadi apa tuh benang merahnya yang tak tergantikan oleh AI apa?
Communication skill ya?
Apa?
Human skill ya.
People. Kok kamu pinter? Di kelas harus Kok kamu pinter tapi nggak bercanda. Oke, ya, human ya, manusianya, the factor of human. Oke, so no matter how update the technology, digital and everything, the human that operate it is not replaceable. Okay, one more question, one last question. Yes, silakan. Ini Sena sekali lagi dapat piring cantik.
I have a question for Kadio. So
Yes.
I know you work in the Jakarta Post, right? And then you're a senior writer. And I know you're not talking for Jakarta Post, but you're talking for yourself. Could you see Jakarta Post being in, as you said, multi-channels, is in being in a podcast? That's first. And then second of all is that, as you've seen, like Bocor Alus, I see it too, and I watch it too from Tempo. And then wait, I forgot my second question.
Tanya ChatGPT coba, mungkin.
And I could see you as you have a good public speaking, and I see you really passionate about as you speak right here. And then I think I could see you more than just a writer, so I could see you as a host for the podcast itself. So
Tuh, kamu
thank
jadi
you.
hostnya katanya.
So what's the question? Thank you for the compliments.
Multi-channel itu apakah Jakarta Post?
Yang pertama, yang kedua?
Ya, yang kedua sih apa ya?
Yang muji doang ya, nggak apa-apa juga.
Yang muji doang. Yeah, that. So yes.
Yeah.
Alright.
Multi-channel ya.
I think it is an inevitability that a traditional media, including Jakarta Post, and this is not just JP. I think like New York Times, for instance, they're doing something great. They have gamified media. You play Wordle, for instance. It's these are things that make the audience engage more. And I think industry-wise, there's still a push and pull. For instance, would you want to pay for news? Yeah. That's exactly the point, right? But do you subscribe or do you use Spotify yang paid?
Yes.
That's exactly my point, right? So, a few years back when I was in, middle school, elementary, we go on Forshared for music, kan? It was bajakan days back then. Not trying to say that's right legally, but I think the market mindset is not there yet. That we pay for Netflix, right? We pay for curated content for our entertainment. We pay for music. We pay for series, movies, and then the industry, it's now adjusted to it. There's like huge movie series production just funded by Netflix or HBO, right? So it's things like that. Well, eventually, I feel the media industry as well, how we consume information, it's because we're used to getting it for free. But the industry is suffering because of it. You know, you have to scroll this one short article, 80% of it is covered in ads, and then it's like 5 pages long, right? Yeah, so I think eventually the media would have to adjust. We would have to engage our audience differently and also develop new business models while the market itself is also adjusting.
Okay, so I think that's like a good ending, yeah, to finish our second session. Give round of applause to our two speaker, Yato. If you have question later, you can discuss with our speakers later during the lunch or coffee break. Oh, coffee breaknya udah ya, lunch ya. We will have lunch, right? Atau paling nggak di FX lah ya, paling nggak di FX lunch. Okay, yeah, I know. Okay, so thank you everyone. Thank you Dio and Hana. I hope that I will see you more, not only in this event, but like more specific topic in class ya. Sena, mana tadi yang nanya? Renat ya. We can discuss more with Hana or Dio. Okay, I'll give it back to Alia. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hana.
So, as part of our way to appreciate our speaker's insight, we would like to invite Ms. Dian to the stage to give a token of appreciation, and also I would like to invite once again to the stage Abigail Limuria, Dio Suhanda, Hana Manuela, and Nadia Mirandani to the stage. All right. Just stand over here, and can I have the photographers to take a photo? Di sini aja.
Okay, let's do group picture. So where should we sit? Or stand? Yeah. Balik ini ya. Speaker first. Okay, jadi Budian. Okay. Rama should we remove? Yes. Moderator. Budian ada sesuatu. Karama.
Oh yeah, I think so. Okay, la kamera.
Can we now invite the leaders as well as all the guests? Yes. No. Leaders with all the guests, yes.
Kamera 3, 2, 1. Lagi 3, 2, 1.
Yang satu ini boleh? Sebentar. 1, 2, 3. Satu lagi dari 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Audit nanti kan?
Audience later.
Now, as we've explained before, there will be a tumpang, a cutting for tumpang. It's no longer enough just to be good writer or speaker. Now today's communication professional need to be digital strategists, content creators, and tech-savvy innovators. That's why BINUS University International, as part of the School of Computing and Creative Arts, is incredibly proud to unveil our newly revamped Bachelor of Creative Digital Communication program. This program is designed to equip students like you, our prospective students, with the cutting-edge skills needed to not only survive but thrive in the evolving global landscape. We're talking digital media mastery, strategic communication expertise, and the ability to create compelling content that captivates audiences, not only hundreds, but millions. We're building industry-ready graduates prepared to address the exciting challenges of the digital era. But don't just take my word for it. So without further ado, let's roll the video and discover the power of creative digital communication at BINUS University.
Of technology in various sectors. Seeing this opportunity, BINUS International introduced Creative Digital Communication, an innovative, technology-based and data-driven communication program. Through this program, it allows students to immerse themselves in acquiring future-proof skills by integrating artificial intelligence into crafting strategic communication messages while utilizing the latest cutting-edge technology. Develop in-demand skills in artificial intelligence for media, digital storytelling, big data, data visualization, and algorithm-based digital communication strategies. The Creative Digital Communication offers a double degree program with these partners universities. Join us and be part of the future with Creative Digital Communication, BINUS International.
So, what did you think? Pretty exciting, right? If you guys want to go to Australia, take this program. Alright, so now, as we celebrate the launch of the Creative Digital Communication Program, we also want to express our gratitude for the opportunity to embark on this exciting new chapter. In Indonesian tradition, the tumpeng represents abundance, prosperity, and good fortune. We are honored to share this symbolic act of cutting the tumpeng with all of you, signifying our hopes for the program's success and the bright future of our students. Please join us on stage, Dr. Andreas Chang, MBA, the Campus Director of BINUS Senayan, Ms. Yeni Chen, SCOM, MCOM, as the Deputy Campus Director of BINUS Senayan, Mr. Samuel Mahatma Putra, SCOM, M-Infotech, as the Dean of School of Computing and Creative Arts, and Ms. Dian Sarwono, SPD, MA, as the Head of Creative Digital Communication Program. Yes, can we have the photographers to take a group photo? We get a round of applause. Please return to their seats. We are here at the end of the event, and on behalf of BINUS University International, I would like to say thank you for being part of the launch of Creative Digital Communication. We will all be having a group photo now with the audiences. So, I think from here? Yes. So everyone just stay in your seat, and we can have the camera to be standing in front. Can we have the audience to maybe squeeze to the middle? Those on the edge, just try to sit at the gaps. Hug each other, love each other. Come squeeze. Come squeeze within us. No need, just sit down. So the ones in the back can also be seen.
Terus.
Dari tadi di sini kan?
We can also have someone maybe sit down here. Some may also come stand here.
Di sini. Iya.
Yeah.
Saya boleh diisi, boleh. Merapat aja semua merapat. Merapat lagi aja.
Terus.
You may just sit on the floor or some stand up, some sit on the floor. Men sit on the floor, ladies stand up. Di sini aja di gaps-ya.
Kakak Lili.
Miss Lily.
Everyone.
Cuma yang ini doang kan. Di sini nggak ada frame. Kamu dipulin dulu ya.
Mah di sini bisa.
Dari kamu, tolong pindah ke sini. Yuk, biar masuk ke frame. Kalau nggak saya nanti nggak masuk ke frame. Pindah ke sini. Yuk. Kamu juga boleh atau kamu merapat lagi ke sini. Ya, ke sana. Yang di belakang, adik-adik yang di belakang boleh agak
yang itu
lagi,
kalian naik ke belakang aja ke belakang apa agak ke maju ke depan. Yang ini girls, some of you nggak kelihatan soalnya. Oke.
Geser lagi boleh. Geser lagi cuma sampai L frame-nya. Cuma sampai L nih frame-nya. Yang kesini boleh geser
Biasanya
lagi.
masuk ke in
Gak
between
apa-apa.
of the
Di squeeze aja.
and ya.
Ayo. Kamu juga boleh geser lagi.
Terus
Cuma sampai sini aja frame-nya. Yuk. Geser ke sana boleh, masih ada tempat kosong. Iya. Ayo. Oke, yang ini dulu ya.
Oke, lihat kamera. Kamera ini ya. 3, 2, 1. Lagi. 3, 2, 1. Last one.
Say BINUS University! BINUS University! Okay, everyone, you can all enjoy your lunch, and there are some games you can also play outside. And even photo booth. We should go first before they do. Kids, go back!